Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series following Clan Thenn here in the Game of Thrones mod. As you can see, Magnar Styr is standing here looking proud as he should be, ruling over this vast amount of land here that you can see that our great Thenn warriors now control. Now, a little bit of time has passed since the last episode, and some interesting things have kind of come about, and I wanted to stop here so that I could show you some of these things. Now, number one is that our eldest son, Chieftain Halleck, has come of age. As you can see, he has become something of a fine warrior. He is ambitious, he is zealous, vengeful, and chaste. He is a holy warrior, and he is a very skilled commander and fighter. So overall, taking over the position of Magnar of Thenn once we pass on, Chieftain Halleck looks well poised not only to push the Thenn cause, but the Thenn religion as well. As you can see, he is betrothed to Vicuna, daughter of Torinir, who is one of our vassals, and also the daughter of High Chiefess Val, who is, as you know, a character from the books who some of you may be familiar with. You can see here that we have unfortunately seen the end of the lives of three of our eldest children here. Our son Sigorn, as you will remember, ripped apart limb by limb. Our eldest daughter, Chiefess Corta, was slain by Chieftain Galbert, and here High Chiefess Arya was had her heart ripped out by Bael. So we've lost several of our children, but the next generation does seem to be still well taken care of here in Chieftain Halleck. Our two daughters, Jonna and Krama, and then we have two more sons, Magnar Burke and Skerulf, son of Styr. So we've obviously given out some of our land to our sons, though we rule it in their name, essentially trying to settle them into these lands so that they can rule it once we pass on. So they're catching up with our family a little bit. We do have the decision to hold court, but there's one thing that I want to do first, and I think you guys will find this pretty interesting, and that is, no, not that we can declare the Kingdom of the First Forest. That will be created automatically when we die, but we can create the Head of Faith title. So in order to do that, we just need to go in here to the Magnaric religion. As you can see, we haven't really taken too much of a look at this. The Magnaric religion is quite different than some of the other religions here north of the wall, and much different than the one south of the wall. You can see our traits here: communal identity, chthonic redoubts, pursuit of power, megalithic constructions, and godly leadership. That last one being perhaps the most important. You can take a look and pause the video if you want to check out any of those ones. And you can pause the video if you want to take a look at any of this as well to see how our faith kind of stacks up. But as you saw, we can create the Head of Faith title. And that's gonna not necessarily do much in terms of mechanics right away, but I think it should offer up some pretty interesting options as the game progresses here. So as you can see by clicking that button, we are now the Green Seer of the Magnaric Green Seers. Interesting title there, and that gives us a new position here. As you can see, we are the head of the religion, which is going to give us some small bonuses and things like that to our related to the religion and characters following our religion. I don't know if it's going to give us too many direct options to interact with characters, but we may see some things popping up just from being the head of it. And that is a title that will pass down to our eldest son once he takes the throne, I suppose, of the Magnars. We're going to get a little event here. Styr declared the Green Seer. Though the righteousness of our faith faith was never in doubt. The period of time we have been forced to endure without a spiritual leader has been trying. It doesn't really necessarily make sense in the context of this. We have always been the head of the faith. The Thenns consider the Magnar to be more god than men. But I think this is just us essentially solidifying our position there, perhaps making it more formal now that we have such a large amount of land that belongs to the Thenn. We've kind of added some prominence to the position of the Magnar and essentially the Green Seer here. So we can go along with that. We've ransomed some prisoners here. We do need to continue with our goals. Magnar Styr is getting quite old, and if we do not manage to get ourselves in a position here where the struggle has transferred over to the hostility phase, and in that case, allowing us to essentially use this decision, Thenn dominance here, we will need to essentially start largely from scratch, as our kingdom will fracture between our sons. So we've got a few years. I mean, we're 55 years old, so we don't have a lot of time left. So there will be some more wars here in the future, and essentially trying to get this struggle phase out. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it in Styr's lifetime, but we're going to try. And if not him, then perhaps it will be his son, Chieftain Halleck, who unites the Thenn lands and the rest of the lands beyond the wall and names himself King Beyond the Wall. We shall see. We are going to just go in and, well, first look at this event. My son Magnar Birk has been asking me for a scopper roll for a long time. I don't have any idea what that is. I told him when I would get him one in 3 months if he displayed more focus in his studies. Ever since I made that promise, he has been redoubling the efforts. We could get him... I suppose content would be a good trait for a younger son here, and I see no reason not to keep to our word. So we shall do that. We are also going to hold court. Let us see who here has words for the Magnar. You can see our son there, and our wife, Queen Nova, who has brought us many children in her time and has become a powerful force here, despite her exile from the very far lands in the south of Dorne. She has indeed found a prominent position here at the side of the Magnar. So let us gesture for the first in line to approach and see who it is. It is Magnar Toranir, a strong vassal and a loyal one. In fact, the air is thick with anticipation as my chancellor, Magnar Toranir, approaches me. My lord, I come with grave news, but with a solution to fix this problem. It has been increasingly clear that the Hornfoots and the Thenns are becoming more, perhaps even too similar. It's paramount that we show them that it is us, the Thenns, who are the forefront of innovation. I think that is true. I think that the Thenn culture is indeed superior to Hornfoot culture, so we're just going to go right for this option to host a festival to celebrate our rich Thenn culture. My lord, I regret to inform you that I am at the end of my tether. My friend Magnar Lokrim has been given a new position here as the ruler of the High Chiefdom of Torragdur, and you can see he has a few children here as well who take after him. Stilner, son of Lokrim Redeye. Interesting family there. Perhaps they will play a prominent role in the story to come. The people over which I rule are an uncontrollable mob of unruly barbarians with ridiculous customs and a terrible taste for food. All my efforts so far have been in vain. It just seems impossible to make civilized people of them. I am afraid a strong intervention from above is the only solution now. I see. We can promote culture. Very well, I suppose we will. This has all kind of been centering around us promoting the Thenn culture and bringing that the glory of our culture to these wayward wildlings. And here we have our captain, Berta, showing me a page filled with unfamiliar symbols, insisting on its legibility. I have developed a written language specifically for the women of the court, since the letters are mostly taught to men. If you allow, I will begin teaching the ladies at once. We could have this trait, the language of women. This character is, that's an interesting one. Court tutor Alfarn will help you teach it, or we can make better. You know, I think this is fine. The wildlings don't really have necessarily the same kind of strict hierarchy between men and women that they have south of the wall. Women north of the wall can achieve high positions and have their voice heard, and indeed Queen Nova has proven that here. So I think that's a fine idea. There we go. Our business here is done. But our business here in the lands north of the wall are not. We are going to need to continue our conquests here, so we can conquer duchy, struggle clash. What's the difference here with a struggle clash? Let's take a look at this. I think that the struggle clash may put a little bit more towards the hostility phase, but I would like to potentially take the entire duchy of Hardhome here. What's this little event? What do you say, Styr? My captain burps between draughts from her tankard. Think you can take me at arm wrestling? I'm eating. Go bother someone else. Yeah, I don't think we have time for arm wrestling. Oh, and just randomly, the High Chieftain Varamir Sixskins, character from the book, some of you will know, has died. And who does that put in charge? Chieftain Howd. He's a young man, but he's already an aspiring blade master. Interesting, but... Oh, did he kill someone? He killed Headman Tormund of Hardhome at 11 years of age. This man was a 36-year-old warrior. Interesting, but we are going to be declaring war to conquer your lands here. I wonder if we should probably just go and fight High Chieftain Kyleg at the same time. Neither of them have any allies, and we could potentially do both at once. Yeah, I'm not actually opposed to that. It'll be much quicker. We can just raise our armies one time and go and deal with them both. I'm not really too worried about them forming large armies. As you can see, they've got very small armies, and because this is not a subjugation war, we won't be seeing a bunch of others being called in on their side. So we probably even could have done the Haunted Forest at the same time, but we'll deal with two. I don't want to push things too far, just in case. What we're going to do here, we're going to split our army. We will send the army with our commander here over into take the tribe of Kelpshore. Magnar Olokrim will deal with that. And let's put perhaps our son Chieftain Halleck in charge of conquering the Bay of Seals. Do we need to capture anything on the way here? No, it doesn't appear to be so, so we're just going to go straight in, conquer their lands. We'll see if they want to try to engage us in a fight here. It looks like they will. We'll see how well our son does in this battle. They ran in fear, naturally. So there we go. We're going to siege these down, and unless anything interesting happens, I'll come in towards the end of the sieges. So as you can see here, the siege is almost complete, and we did just have an interesting event. The traveling bard, Ivan, an itinerant bard, popular with the common folk, has arrived at our court. We could ask him, or he asks, what type of music would be most pleasing to our ears. A simple pious ballad? Sing to the valor of the house of the Thenn. A simple pious ballad, I think, would make the most sense. His performance went over swimmingly. and everyone was impressed. Your talents are wasted on the road. We could gain ourselves a court poet. Not a bad idea. Why not? Why not have a court poet? The siege here is almost done. Our son leading his first battle in his first army here. Let us let him engage here, although it is dangerous. We can have him lead the warriors here, and I mean, they do have some advantages here, but I think that we should be fine with our son leading this army here. Let us see. He is going up against Chieftain Kyleg. We need our son. He needs to be able to prove himself as a commander and a leader of the Thenn army, and he has done so here, easily and handily defeating the enemy army. We're going to send him over to siege down their final territory and wrap up the wars here with our enemies. And so it is done. We have managed to take Hardhome for ourselves here. And now we can go in and deal with our enemy here, potentially before they get the siege done. And just in the nick of time, as you can see, right before they took back their lands here, Magnar Styr comes in with the army and manages to capture them, although our captain Moore's got his head ripped off. That's unfortunate for him, I suppose. But there we go, and with the defeat of their army and the capture of Woodwetch, or Woodvetch, whatever that one is, we can finish off that war as well. So we are going to enforce our demands. There we go. We can disband our armies. And now we share a border with the Wall. They have a large army. They do have a large army. We can't take the Wall, but perhaps we would be able to do a raid across it. They have a lot of land to give out here, though. We can potentially form a title. Indeed, we can form the High Lordship of Storald's Point. Let's create that. There we go. Are we going to give that to our son here? Let's see if that's... Yeah, that is part of the Kingdom of the First Forest. So we could give our younger son a bit more land here. Or we could potentially give this to, say, someone else here. Male Borhel. He is in a matrilineal marriage with our daughter. He's a strong warrior, this man, and he's not particularly loyal. We could give titles to our daughter here. She's a matrilineal marriage, actually. Oh no, it doesn't seem we can. That's unfortunate. We could give them to her husband, though. I'm actually not opposed to that. Yeah, let's give him these titles. So we're gonna give him pretty much the entire chiefdom of Storald's Point here. So that will stay in our dynasty once he passes on. Presumably, if he does have a child with our daughter when she comes of age there. So there we go. Hopefully he will be a loyal vassal. I mean, his loyalty, he's become a lot more loyal now that we've given him all that land. Would you be willing to... I don't suppose we can get you to become a Magnaric. No? That's unfortunate. Well, no matter. We shall continue on. So we have an alliance with the Ice Lakes, I believe. Is that true? No, we don't have an alliance anymore. I think we have an alliance with his son. Yeah, I think we do have an alliance with his son. So when he dies, Magnar Soren, the Shield Breaker, we'll have an alliance with the Ice Lakes. But all of the western and southern parts of the lands here north of the Wall are essentially still need to be subjugated. That is a lot of war that we need to do here, and we're gonna have to essentially continue on with those wars. So we're probably going to take down the Haunted Forest and go up against Milkwater. Keening Ridges, we do have a truce with them for now. We are curious to see what will happen as we continue to build up towards the hostility phase and eventually have some options here related to that. So like I said, we're going to wage a few wars. If anything interesting happens, any cool battles, any significant victories or anything like that, we will come back in, rest assured. So here we go, declaring some wars and dealing with our enemies. So we did engage in one battle here right away as Magnar Lokrim goes up against the High Chiefess Morna Whitemask, also a character mentioned in the books. The fight will potentially be a hard fought one, as we have already lost High Chiefess Osha of the Jagged Hills, viciously dismembered by High Chieftain Mag the Mighty. Oh, interesting. Mag the Mighty, Haunted Forest. Wow, okay, so we have an interesting thing here as a... Okay, I didn't know this was possible, but High Chieftain Mag the Mighty, a giant. I didn't realize that they could marry. Probably, I don't know if this is a bug in the mod, but apparently he has married and had a few children with Morna Whitemask. So 2 daughters. Interesting. One of them seems to have taken over or taken after her father and is giant sized as well. So interesting. Morna getting it on with the giant. Well, to each their own. I'm sure she has her reasons there for that. But as you can see, the battle here, hard fought. We're losing a few of our captains, but we should be able to win this fight. Our captain Berta was maimed by Hive Chieftain Mag. We have a giant on our side as well, but looks like, yeah, I mean, we've just lost a lot of people. They are killing our champions here. But our son did wound one of the enemies. Oh my god, High Chieftain Mag the Mighty is just going on a rampage. We're definitely going to look at the effects from this battle here. Look at the captains here. Yeah, High Chieftain Woon obviously getting the most kills, but High Chieftain Mag of the Haunted Forest, he is just slaying here. We did slay one of theirs, Gavin, but we lost Ivan, we lost Soren, we lost Hilda, we lost Gela, and we lost Osha. Not too sad about Soren. He was our enemy, the ruler of the lands that we took here in that really intense subjugation war. Pretty happy about that, actually, because his land has now split among his many sons. So as you can see now, instead of having one very powerful drowned forest, we've got that split into a couple different, still powerful realms, but they won't be quite as much of a threat. So yeah, we're gonna just kind of siege down their lands here. That was a hard fought battle. We lost a lot of our warriors, but we did win the fight. So we'll let the siege pass and come back. Then we do have to fill in some positions as well. Surety of supply. Part of a commanding army means making sure my soldiers have plenty of food. Arrange a network of... We could stockpile supplies. Yeah, let's just pay the money. Speed up time here a little bit. So we actually find ourselves in an interesting position here as our 2 enemies here in Milkwater and the Haunted Forest have engaged in a battle between each other here, and we have the position of coming in and facing whoever is the winner. As soon as they're essentially done their fight there, our forces will engage with the next one. So he wants a truce. The Magnar Soren of Ice Force. Yeah, okay, we'll accept a truce. This is our one ally, essentially, or one friendly wildling faction here, is the Kingdom of the Ice Forest. So as you can see, we immediately engaged in battle with Morna Whitemask once more after she defeated the forces of Milkwater. But our enemies weakening each other here as the battle presses on. Totally fine with that. Gonna get another lifestyle perk, hit and run. We do want to continue all the way down to strategist there. Look at the battles. We got a couple battles that happened here. Borok was slain, Mance was slain. But that is that there. And in this battle, High Chieftain Mag. Ah, Mag the Mighty was slain. Who killed him? Ooh, look at that. Chieftain Woon of Kree. So the two last giants in the game, well, other than his daughter Val Nightmask, the some of the two last giants in the game and potentially in the world in the Song of Ice and Fire, there are not many giants left, even beyond the wall. None south of the wall for sure. But yeah, one giant slain by another. Chieftain Woon slaying Mag the Mighty. Giant against giant. That's actually kind of sad, really. Contributing to the end of their people, really. Indeed. That is sad. But, you know, maybe we'll put a pin in this character here, because I would kind of like to see where the descendants of the of Mag the Mighty go, if they can have, you know, some giant blood in this lineage. I wonder if we could arrange for a marriage with our good friend here as well. I mean, let's see, is there anybody? Adilla Ren, perhaps, would he accept? No, he wouldn't accept. And he won't. There are no giants for him to marry, giant women. So it seems like that may be some of the end of the giants here. Once Woon is dead, only Chieftain Mag's lineage will potentially carry on a little bit into the future. Who is this? High Chieftain Brog wants to assist us in our wars. I don't think we need it. I don't think we need your help, Brog. Loving Locke, my dearest Nova, is in our usual pillow talk. Do you love my hair so, my beloved? I love this event because her hair is her most noticeable feature, the silver white hair of Hosdane. Yeah, I think, sure, why not? Let's take that event and take a lock of our wife's hair. It just seems fitting that would be like considered like an important omen, an important talisman, essentially. We're gonna speed up time here. Our allies are sieging down, which is fine, and hopefully once we can siege this down, we should be in a pretty good position here. Apparently we need some siege men-at-arms to siege this down. What do they have here that's so defensible? A small godswood? Doesn't seem that helpful. Our daughter comes of age. That means she can marry here to our Magnar of Storald's Point. There we go. Magnar Burke came to me complaining about Magnar Garrick bullying him. We can make him arbitrary. Your will is the only law that matters. That's not necessarily true, because he will not be the Magnar of Magnars upon our death. So make sure you stay hidden where you go. Why not hide in your room instead? Lazy, craven. But he is the son of the Magnar. I think this is the option that makes the most sense. So he'll be arbitrary. Not opposed to that. And there we go. We have captured the daughter and heir of Chiefess Morna. So let us enforce our demands. We'll take those lands. There we go. And we could give them to one of these people here, Chieftain Halleck of Crow's Keep, but no, we should probably give it out to someone who is a Thenn, don't you think? Let us grant it to Sigorn Steen. Interesting. Who are you? Alright, well, you're from a higher lineage than some others, so we'll grant you that land, Chieftain of Yarrow, but first we're going to probably create a title, Lordship of Haunted Forest. There we go. So that we can give that to him. Grant that title. Sigorn Steen. There you go. Let's grant him the other title as well. Could have done that all at once. And now we have to deal with the forces of Milkwater. Let's see if they pose any fight at all. High Chieftain Gendel the Weeper here, another character mentioned in the books. Magnar Lokrim is leading our armies as well he does, and our Captain Woon viciously dismembered Arsa. Woon is doing what he does, wounded the enemy commander as well, and we have crushed the enemy forces here in this battle. And that is that fight done and done. We're going to go up here to Fang Spear and just try to siege them down, get a good victory here against our enemies. So we've captured Fang Spear here, but that is not enough to win the war. We're probably going to have to go and fight the enemy forces once again. They're trying to siege us down, but that's not going to make too much of a difference, I don't think, here. Looks like we will probably be able to catch them here, get ourselves into another battle. Or Jester the closely. As I'm about to retire for the night, a scene of unbelievable hilarity ensues before my eyes. My guest Devon, naked as the day is born, chasing my court jester with an axe. Come here, give me back my clothes or I'll split you in half, Devon screams. Oh, you'll never catch me. I need your clothes to build my cozy little jester nest. Yagni giggles, carrying an armful of stolen clothes. No matter how fun this is, give him back his clothes. No, I mean, I don't personally care either way. Let the fools do as fools will. Here we go, once again, battling High Chieftain Gendel the Weeper. And I think this will once again turn in our favor here. Let's see if Woon rips apart anymore. He has no captains. We've slain all his captains in the previous battle, so he probably will stand no real chance here in this fight. There we go. We're going to have to siege down some more land to win this war, so we're going to do that and then come right back. One thing I have noticed as we are sieging down Craster's Keep here, interestingly enough, Chieftain Halleck of Styr has become an aspiring blade master. That's bumping his prowess up even more. If he can increase that, he's going to be probably one of the most skilled warriors in Westeros. I mean, 28 is pretty high. It's definitely not as high as some other characters here, but it is probably pretty high. While all this sieging is going to go on, I'm going to slow down time a little bit so that we can just go and take a look at what is happening in the rest of Westeros. As you can see, Robert Baratheon is still king of the Iron Throne. He's actually married to a fairly lowly house here. I'm not sure why. Probably he thought she was beautiful and took her as his wife, I think. What happened to Cersei? Something strange happened to Cersei during all that. What is this here? She's been denounced. Well, that doesn't really surprise me. Her brother Tyrion is the Lord Paramount of the Westerlands. Good for Tyrion. But yeah, she is no longer the wife or the queen of the Seven Kingdoms. Anything else going on here? Lord Paramount Roymar of the Vale. House of Arryn still ruling there. We also have in the Riverlands, Edmure is now the ruler. He's got a very high diplomacy that Edmure does. Who's he married to? Somebody from the House of Blackwood. Interesting enough. Let's take a little look in at our old House of Blackwood. Brynden is ruling here, taking over for his father Tytos, who died from some internal injuries. Good for you, Brynden. And then up here in the... Oh, Ned Stark. Ned Stark was slain by Doss Redtree. Wow, Ned Stark slain by a wildling. Very curious indeed. I wonder how that event came out. Lord Paramount Eddard the Dunged. The Dunged? I'm not sure what that's supposed to imply. Milk of the Poppy. He led an interesting life, very much departing from what we know in the books there. And his family is much different here, too, as you can see. But Lord Paramount Moors is the Stark in Winterfell for now. So a little catch up there on some of the characters south of the wall. So as we continue to siege down these enemy lands, we can look and see here that we are getting close towards that hostility phase And how old are we? How old are we here? 59 years old. If we could get another 10 years out of Styr, I think that we might see the struggle or reach that hostility phase. That would put us into a position where we could potentially enact this. We're going to need to get at least 3, so we have 3 of these titles. What else do we need? We need to hold and completely control 2 de jure kingdoms. We're probably pretty close to that, actually. Let us see. Yeah, so actually we're going to get that. Oh, not in this next one. We would need to take this chunk here of the Ice Lakes in order to get that. We could try to go for the Frost Fangs, and we probably will need to go here. That would just require us to take Walrus Bay, Keening Ridges, and Milkwater here. Well, we'll see if we can manage to get one of the 2 here before Magnar Styr's death. But it is possible. We may be able to name ourselves King Beyond the Wall before we die. That would be ideal. Today, Sigana held a fiery sermon for all the children of the court, and they were spellbound as he zealously read from the legends. My son Burke keeps telling me how much he enjoyed the passages about the Night's King. Now that is an interesting figure, the Night's King. I believe, if I remember my Game of Thrones lore correctly, the Night's King was formerly said to be a Lord's commander of the Wall, of the Night's Watch, but he ended up declaring himself king of the Wall, or king of whatever, the Night's King essentially, and allying himself with the others, with the cold gods, and being just generally a horrible person and a foe of essentially anyone south of the Wall, and probably north of it as well. You should go and check out the lore. I definitely did not get all of the details there, but a very interesting figure the Night's King is. He could get sadistic. Your faith stands above all. Indeed, I think his faith does stand above all. I'd like to have zealous children. That is good for our Magnaric religion. They can convert more of these lands. How is conversion going here? Magnaric still has a long way to go. We have kind of started to spread our religion here, but I would like it to spread a lot more. We've sieged down Craster's Keep. Like I said, we're just going to go and continue with these sieges. Queen Rayleigh here. Queen Rayleigh of the Ice Lakes. Oh. Our ally here, Magnar Styr, was slain in battle. Well, now that the Queen of the Ice Lakes has taken over, not as much of an ally potentially as her father or grandfather was to us, so we're going to have to think about how we are going to deal with that matter. But these wars will continue, and they will continue into the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching.